My name is Sean Mallinger, and I am the film and photography teacher at Hawaii Baptist Academy. I've been teaching at HBA since the fall of 2002. But I'm here because I failed a test. Now, don't let that scare you. Let me explain. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be a journalist. I was in the yearbook and I was on the newspaper staff, and I needed to go to college. But college is expensive, and my family couldn't afford it. So in order for me to pay for college, I decided that I was going to join the military. And in the military, in the United States Navy, they had journalists. So I met with the recruiter, and they told me about it, and then they took me from my small town of just about 600 people to the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and they gave me a series of tests, and then I failed one of them. Because what they did is they took out this old typewriter and gave me a typing test, and I failed. And then the recruiter says, well, you can come back and you can take it again. But I said some words that changed my life. I said, what do you have that's close? And he said, photographer. And I said, I'll do it. So my life changed because I failed a typing test. But in hindsight, I see that it wasn't just that. There were all of these other influences in my life that kind of redirected me. The toys you see here, I got when I was in elementary school. It's this little TV set, and there's a camera, there's a lens, and you can focus, and it projects a little image. And then when I was entering high school, I got this motion picture camera, and with it I made some movies and would project it on a projector kind of like this one. And then in high school, I would make movies with my friends with VHS tape.
Hi, honey, I'm home.
And I loved watching movies like Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And so all of these visual stories were an influence in my life, and I didn't even know it. And I wouldn't have known it if that test hadn't been failed. And so I did 7.5 years as a U.S. Navy photographer, and I was on an aircraft carrier. I traveled throughout Asia, Pacific, Persian Gulf. I was stationed in Japan, and then I came to Hawaii. And in Hawaii, I learned digital photography, and we had this giant DSLR that was like a 1 megapixel camera, probably cost us $14,000. The images were kind of terrible in today's standards, and yet I was learning this new form of the art. And then, after I did my time in the Navy, I went to college, and I got a degree in literature. And then God used all of these different things to bring me to HBA, and then I was not only going to be teaching photography at a certain point, but also motion picture and storytelling. So God used those strange things to come together to help me be a storyteller who teaches others to be storytellers. And that's how we begin each class. We begin with this reminder that we're storytellers, living in God's story, and it is good. And in class, I will take the students through this kind of disciplined path of learning to tell stories well. And we spent some time, quite a bit of time, on the basics, on the technical things. And it's not to get them just thinking about the technical things, but it's actually to free their storytelling, because the better they are at the basics, the better they are at telling stories. And it actually frees their storytelling. So we will spend time with the basics, and then we're going to spend time telling stories well and learning what it is that really draws us to good pictures through composition. Now, if you're interested in learning photography, you're welcome to learn in the class. You won't have to have a seat in here. All of my material is on the HBA Film Studies website. There's a link on our Google Classroom. There's a link also in Blackbaud, or you can just Google HBA Film Studies, and you can see all the different materials that we learn in the various film and photography classes at HBA. But the goal is to be a good storyteller. Not just that, not only to tell good stories, but to live them. And that's my goal for your children, to tell good stories and live them.